Today's March 4th, and we have a lot of sassafras on Long Island. And from what I read, it don't make a great bow wood. It's weak in tension, and it's very light. So I said, okay, why not try and get one, heat treat it, and see if I can make a bow out of it. So when I cut this small diameter tree enough to make one bow, it's very, very sweet smelling, very aromatic, fragrant. What a beautiful smell. So anyway, it's gonna be raining and I got a lot of things going on. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna make a bow out of this and fire harden it, and we'll see what happens. I just wanna show you that this likes a sharp draw knife, bevel side down, and gentle. Look how easy I'm going, and the bark comes off, okay? Don't want to dig into the sapwood. I want to leave the sapwood. Okay, it's the first time I'm using sassafras, and we're going to clean this log up. Look how nice it comes off, see? Just wanted to show you how nice it comes off. Go easy, slow, don't dig. Okay, it comes off really nice. This is the winter bark. This is March 5th. Okay, I'm almost done. I'll show you when it's done. I drew a 2-inch strip, 1 inch on each side of the center line, and I'm going to trim it out. I have it roughly trimmed to 2 inches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wet paper towel and take off this chalk center line, and I'm going to remark it and carefully look at it and put some and trace a bow design on it, trim it up. I have my sassafras bow blank trimmed out. I have it a little thicker. Tips are a little wider than 3/4 just for now. As I sand it down, there'll be less. I'm going to go with a little more than a 1/2 inch. What I learned from the soft woods, like that juniper I used, that you're going to make a 20-pound bow if you make it any thinner. So you want it a little thicker because it's a lighter, more flexible wood. You know, this is bending a little bit already. And I'm going to sand it down, shape it up a little bit, and we'll see what we get. Okay, this was a 4-inch sassafras tree, 4-inch diameter, that I shaped up, made a bow blank. I took the bark off. This is the natural backing on it. It came off very easy for being in March. It's wound up after I sanded the tool marks. It's a little wider here. It's 1 3/4 at the fade outs, and it goes down, it tapers down 11 inches to 1 1/4, and then from that 1 1/4 it goes down 11 inches from the end to 1 inch, and then the tips are approximately 3/8, and they'll, you know, when it's finished, it'll be less. Okay, so that's kind of the design I went with. I wanted to keep it just a little thicker than 1.5 inches, and it's approximately a little less. It's a little less than 5/8 thick, because I remember when I made the juniper bow, it was very light, very, you know, when you had that light soft wood like this here, it was very flexible, made a low pound bow. So, you know, I want to get a little heavier bow. Nothing drastic, you know. 35-pound bow or something out of this. I went a little longer too. I made it, instead of my normally like 66 or whatever, I made it 68. And I'm gonna try and put this on a backset jig and heat it up with a heat gun and see if it holds out and I'm able to conform it to a backset jig. And then I'm going to fire harden it. And I know there's issues with the tension, but I'm only going to put a slight backset on this. I'm only going to go for that. I have a backset jig that only has an inch backset, and I'm just hoping with the fire hardening it'll be enough that I won't get a lot of set after shooting this soft wood, and I'm hoping that'll even things out a little bit. So that's the next. I'm going to get the backset jig heated up, try and put it on. This is my backset jig that has 1 inch of backset approximately, and I just want to show you that you don't want to put a lot of pressure on these risers, because when you'll crack it. You'll get a crack in them. So you see there's a little bit of natural sort of like backset in the riser. It's curved a little bit. All I'm going to do is put a shim in the middle here. Okay, once again, there's shims under this because I don't want to put a lot of pressure under this riser. I'm kind of going with the backset, the curve that's in the riser. And I'm going to start heating from the midpoint of the riser handle out and clamp it from the midpoint out. It's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to remove moisture because this tree was cut down yesterday. Okay, so it's going to start removing moisture and clamping it in preparation for fire hardening. And it's going to shape it, and then once it's shaped and conformed, I'm going to take it off of this by the end clamps are coming off, and I'm going to reverse clamps so that these screw handles will be up top, and it will not they won't go in the fire. They'll be nowhere near the fire when I fire harden this. So that's the plan. Middle, back and forth. Then I'm going to work my way out, and once it's conformed to the jig, I'll show you. I have it on the backset jig, and I'm heating up the riser and the inner limbs. I'm doing half of the time. I already heated this side up, and we're just trying to get it to conform to the jig. And there's a little space, and that's okay. You don't want to put too much pressure, but I did get it down a little bit, and that's the idea. It's 8 minutes on a section this big, 8 minutes a section here, and then we're going to do the ends. And when I take this off, I do expect to get spring back, because I'm going to take these off and reverse the clamps, but they'll bolt right back on. But part of the process is this heat gun is removing moisture from this bow blank that was a living tree yesterday, okay? And that's part of the process, is using the heat gun on the backset jig to get it to conform and remove moisture. I'm done for today. I reversed the clamps. I used heat. Mostly the heat gun was for taking some of the moisture out. And even though you could see some spaces in between here, you don't want to force anything. As you heat it, you're able to gently take up some space. And once this is on the coals, the wood's going to shrink up to the point where these clamps are going to want to fall off. So while I'm heating this up on the fire hardening this on the coals, I'm going to just keep on tightening the clamps just keep checking them, and if there's any gaps, I'm sure they'll seal up. And the ends that were very twisted, you see there's more clamps on this end, it will take the shape of the jig with the heat from the fire hardening. And all I'm doing is tweaking the clamps a little bit at a time, and after 2 hours of cooking, it's going to be just fine. So tillering and getting it to bend, I'm going to make sure that this wood after fire hardening is very well hydrated. I'm going to hydrate it, and be very careful tillering it. So that's the end of the video for today.